Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Hey, beautiful, beautiful. It's getting better and better, this. Easier and easier.
It is.
So, how's things? How are you?
Good. Yeah, I can't complain.
Yeah, sorry to get you up so early. I think I'm
Well,
going to have to move like into the middle of the Atlantic or something just to make that difference a little bit. I'll
right?
move to Ireland. That'll do. I'll move there. That's
There
fine.
you
I've
go.
I've got Irish family. It's okay. We can do that.
Perfect.
So yeah.
Uh, so if you see me catching my breath, my nose is so blocked up.
Oh, you
So
got
like every once in a
allergies.
while, like this, yeah. And
Yeah, yeah.
especially it's worse when I just wake up.
Yeah,
So
yeah, we've
having all that,
it's been
I'm gonna have to
horrendous
like
here.
catch my breath.
I've got such bad. We call it hay fever. I don't. Is that a thing where you are? We call it allergies, hay fever. Um,
Yeah, I've heard that before. Yeah.
yeah, we have. Yeah, I've got terrible hay fever, and it's been really bad this year. Have
So
you
how was
seen
your
him?
holiday?
Oh, it was great. It was really
Yeah.
good. Yeah, we went to Wales. It's only like a 2 hour trip where we go. So yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, got a nice break on the beach with the dog, and yeah, it was fun,
Nice.
really fun. Stayed in a cottage with a hot tub. Can't go wrong. Can't
Perfect.
go wrong.
That's the cool thing about being there is like for me it's like I can take a 2 hour drive and be in another state,
Yeah, yeah,
but you
yeah.
can be like in a whole nother
Another
country if you want
country.
or
Yeah,
go wherever
this is it. It's crazy as well because like where I live in Cheshire, we're on the border with Wales.
Yeah.
Um, so like as you get closer to Wales, because they speak a different language, you'll
Yeah.
start to see all the road signs changing from English to Welsh.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, and the Welsh like to make fun of us because we can't pronounce any of their names. So yeah, because
Nice.
they use vowels for weird. Like there's a town we go to called Dolgethley, but it's
Mhm.
spelt like Dolgeow. That's how it looks when you read it on the map, but it's spelled it says it, you say it Dolgethley, and yeah, it's a lot of fun when you see an English person saying it as Dolgeow, and they're like, "Who? Where's Dolgeow?" And it's like, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah,
Oh, that
yeah,
would be me. I'd be butchering
yeah.
everything.
Dolgeow. You're looking for Dolgeow Castle? Yeah, you're not going to find it. Doesn't exist.
So, hi everybody. Welcome to the show. Today on what the hell's the name of our show? Middle East. Take two.
Take two.
Hi everybody. Welcome to the show. I am Scare Dad,
And I am Halloween Dan.
and we are middle-aged men talking about Halloween. Today, we're going to talk about the new Spirit lineup for 2024, and we've got some things to say about it. You know, there's some really cool stuff. There's some.
Questionable.
When this lineup came out, one of my favorite YouTubers was MIA. So, what happened, Dan?
Yeah, I was on holiday. I don't know. I knew it was going to drop any moment, but I thought I might just. It was only a week. I'll only be a week, and maybe I'll even be able to film myself on holiday. But no, I couldn't do that. So I missed out on the one of the biggest drops of the year. But there was a hot tub involved, so the hot tub wins. I'm afraid. So yeah.
It would have been funny to get a video of you in the hot tub,
Yeah, like
just chilling,
I
right?
like some of them.
Right. All right. So let's start with the main attractions from Spirit. And I guess we'll just go through the list. So the first one here is the Ringmaster.
My friends are going to show you a scary good time.
This one's interesting because in some ways he's better than I thought he would be.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he looks pretty cool. I like the design. It's kind of cartoony. It's not like a super realistic, but I think it works for the character. It gives him character and some personality.
Yeah.
I think the phrases are good. I'm not sure. I have to see it in motion. I'm not sure about the projection thing. If it's cheap, I'd rather have him not have it. But if it's cool, like, it looks like it's a static image, but I'm hoping it's not. Because if it's not, and there's like a moving face with like souls in it, that would be pretty cool. But the two pictures we have of the image are both the same, and like maybe the color's slightly different. So if it's just a projection of this face that appears on his chest, it's like, why? I don't
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What are your thoughts?
The same. I like the look. I was quite impressed with. I thought he's quite a big, commanding looking, ringmaster, which is what you want, I suppose. Yeah, classic ringmaster look with the red velvet coat. I love that. It looks good. Other than that, though, I think I said in my video, he's probably a bit too typecast. Again, we've said this about a lot of props. I think great for a carnival, obviously. Not so great in anything else at all. I can't imagine you needing this in anything else. I don't know about the projection. I like it, but it definitely looks like a skull. And unless he's saying something related to it, I'm not sure what that's for. I'm kind of like, what's his story? Like has he got some sort of dark soul trapped inside him or that's trying to get out? Or so? I don't know. It just seemed like they were like, we're doing a carnival. We need a ringmaster. What else can we do apart from him saying like, roll up? Oh, we'll put a projection in his chest. I don't know. It's cool, but I don't know what it's for. I suppose we'll see it when we see a bit more footage. There must be a reason for it. And like you say, I hope it kind of moves and it's not just like a skull projected on the inside of his chest for no reason. Well, I'm sure there'll be a reason behind it, but it just, I don't know. It's cool, but not for me because it only will work in a carnival. And I'm clearly not going to be doing that anytime soon.
I think it's supposed to be like the souls, like he's collecting the souls, but
yeah,
the phrases don't say it, which is funny because one of the other props I'm going to criticize for only talking about the gimmick, and this one, the only thing he says is like, but nothing is free, I think, is one of the ones he says, but
okay,
like about getting into the carnival, but there's
does he tip his head backwards? Like he does, doesn't he? Because I thought I'd seen a picture of him tipping his head backwards, and then I couldn't find the picture again, and I was like, I better not say that he does, but I think he does.
Made that video, and I was so ready to get in and talk about it, because it was new. And I didn't read all the descriptions, and I kind of did the same thing. I was like, oh, I think the head tips back also, looking at this picture. And then if I actually read the description, it tells you that his head tips back.
Yeah, so this is what I mean. I didn't read any of this information. I was just like, it does. I think it does. I think it does.
I did the whole video, as it goes in and it's rendering. I was like, oh, now I can watch some of the other people's videos. So I clicked one on, and and he's got the head turning technology for Nibbles, like the follow you thing. And I was like, oh shit, I didn't read that. I gotta go back and film. I didn't. But
you're doing my trick of saying a prop has horse head movement when it clearly isn't anything to do with a horse at all. So yeah, that's.
If I'm gonna rate it, I'd probably give him like 3 skulls.
Ooh, 3 skulls. See, I was thinking for me, 2 skulls, because I like it for what it is. It's a good prop. For the character, clearly makes sense in every way that character can do, but it's very, very specific to carnival theme, and I don't like carnival theme. Right. So and until that could become 3 skulls if we see some footage of him and some of the things, particularly the projection, make some sense. But I don't know. I'm going to stick with 2.
Okay, so we are going to move on to.
You caught my eye.
Nibbles the Clown. And this is like the one that's getting everyone talking, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's using the motion sensor technology, and it's like 68% water made a Grim Reaper that does this, and it's very cool. It's a Grim Reaper with no face, and his uses like a infrared like heat. It's looking for the heat signatures, and it will follow it along, and it's very cool. If you want cooler version of this prop, check out 68% water, because it's a Reaper that does it, and
that's cool.
I know people like clowns. Reapers are cooler than clowns, though.
Yeah, definitely. I'll be checking that out because Reapers are definitely cooler than clowns. Yeah, Nibbles. Yeah, he's a cool looking clown. I like for clowns. He's more of a jestery type clown. I said this in one of my videos, so that makes him cool. But the technology that's in him is awesome. I just don't know why it needs to be in a clown, like you said. Reaper or something would be cooler.
Was he? And the biggest thing I have with this, right? So I think he looks great. I think he actually looks good. The sculpt looks great. So I do like the prop. I'm not saying I don't. And I like the tech, but all his phrases talk about the fact that he can see you and that he's like following you around. And part of me is kind of like, like that's, you took this cool concept, right? This cool tech, and you did the most basic thing you could do about it, where you put very little thought into the phrases,
Yeah.
put very little thought into the fact that it's a clown. You just gave him a lollipop and he's standing there, one of their more unique tech-wise props, but they put it on the most generic background prop they could do. It's just,
Yeah,
so I don't
100%
know.
true. That's 100% true. Exactly right. I mean, even the lollipop you said, I was kind of surprised by the lollipop in a way because, like, you'd think the clown props you see before, they have this thing, don't they, of it's always like something to do with a kid being eaten or something like that. So I know that's been done before, but when I just saw him holding a big lollipop, which is clearly the thing he's nibbling for nibbles, I was kind of surprised they hadn't gone. Maybe it was maybe too obvious to go with a kid, like it's eating a kid or like holding a kid it's about to take a bite out of or something. I don't know. I think though that might have made it cooler for the clown people. I don't know. Either way. It's a shame for me that it's this cool technology is in a clown. That's the way I look at it. But I do, as clowns go, this is a okay clown. I like this clown. And I said in my own video, if I had to buy a clown, that would be the clown. But it's still a clown.
Does part of you think that they came up with the name? Let's call him Nibbles. And they said, how do we justify the name?
Yeah.
Well, he's nibbling on a lollipop.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah,
Let's
that's
give him a
exactly
lollipop.
it. They didn't. It wasn't the other way. I don't think they built the prop and gave it a lollipop and was like, oh, he looks like he's nibbling that. Oh yeah, we'll call him Nibbles.
Right.
Yeah, someone's come up with a name, and then they've stuck a lollipop in the hand just because they're like, oh, that's the quickest answer there. Just put a lollipop in his hand. Yeah, that's it.
Right.
That's it.
So,
Unimaginative spirit.
yeah. But that's part of the problem with this year's lineup is they've got kind of a lot of the unimaginative. And that's the one thing that we'll get into it. But
Yeah, we will.
let's stick with Nibbles for now.
Let's say Nibbles.
For Skulls, I'm going to let you go first on this one. What are you thinking?
I'm going to go 3 skulls because even though it's a clown and I usually don't rate clowns, I have to admit it's a good looking clown and it has the cool technology in it, which we've just said, it don't make sense in a clown, but it is kind of still cool. So I'm going to go for 3 skulls. And I know it's going to be probably the most popular prop this year, without doubt. So 3 skulls.
So because he's better than the Ringmaster, I have to go 3.5 skulls. Again, we said everything. It's just a generic prop with cool tech. But it's a good looking generic prop. The sculpt and everything looks good. The paint job, the costume, I like all of it. It's just a clown. That's not my thing.
Exactly.
So now we're going to move on to one that is actually one of my personal favorites this year. And this is Bobby Strings. And so we've got this marionette puppet, kind of Pinocchio looking, but big. So the whole prop is like 7 feet. And so you got to figure, I know there's space between, the strings and the ground with him, but he's probably still going to be like a 5-foot marionette, and the fact that he's held up. So if you actually stretched him out, he probably would be 7 feet tall. I think it's just cool looking. It's a cool kind of unique take that can be clowns, it can be carnival, but it could also just be if you're in a haunted house and you're going through a kid's room, right, with some creepy dolls and stuff, you could fit right in there too.
Yeah.
So I really like this one. I like the motion. I like the idea. Phrases are fine. They're very long. Sounds like he's talking forever. If you look at his quotes, they're like huge.
I heard you reading them out actually on your video. Yeah, they were long quotes, but
I started reading them, and then when I get to him, I'm just like, should I cut out reading these quotes? Like, who wants to listen to me just sit there and read for like 10 minutes? But
to be fair, it gave me a good idea of exactly what he was going to say. So yeah, thank you for reading out those quotes.
You're welcome. But what's cool is that they've got the like kid. I don't know if it's kid. I assume it's like a kid marionette voice. But then there's like this like demonic voice that comes in too. So it's like this weird possessed toy. So I think that's cool too. I think that's another thing that kind of sets it apart and makes it a little bit cooler. So What's your take?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a prop I would pick for myself because it doesn't go with anything else. But I do think there's a lot more you can do with this. I was impressed by the size, to be honest. Like you said, I think when I first heard the name, I was imagining, maybe like a 4 foot prop, maybe a 5 foot prop, but 7 foot. This thing's going to be quite impactful, quite dominating, and I've never seen a marionette type prop before like this, and it kind of takes me back to old school. I don't know, like not theme parks, I suppose, but carnivals and things that I used to go to as kids. There'd always be someone with some creepy puppet or something at one of these things.
Right.
And that's cool. That is really cool. I think, some of the creepier programs I used to watch, like even like Goosebumps and stuff. Yeah, it wasn't a marionette, but it would be a creepy puppet, and puppets are creepy. So, and this is the classic creepy puppet. It has kind of almost friendly Pinocchio vibes about it, but then clearly it's going to have this darker side to it as well. And it's going to be interesting to see exactly what its movement is. It's clearly going to be, moving like a marionette, but it'd be interesting to see how they time that with the phrases, and if it's more of a jolty movement or something. That would be kind of cool. Yeah, and the fact it's so big, that's impressive sized thing. I like it. I do like it, I have to say.
Let's get to the rating. So now he is probably the prop that I think is most impressive, or one of the most impressive.
Yeah.
And even though it's not something I necessarily would buy myself, I try to separate like what I think is cool as opposed to what I just like would purchase, because there's some on here I don't think are as good, but I'd be more likely to purchase because I could use it more.
Yep. Okay.
I'm gonna give him 4 skulls.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to go the same. 4 skulls from me too. Because again, even though this isn't a prop I would buy, it's certainly very cool. I can definitely appreciate what they've done there. And I give them props for thinking a little bit out of the box here. Because we could have just had a lineup of clowns, like one clown after another, doing various different things. And they've gone, no, we are going to pick something else that's carnival related, but is not a clown. And yeah, so I would give them massive props for that. And yeah, it's cool. Very cool.
Yeah. And I would say not even directly carnival related. Like it kind of fits the theming, but it could be a fantasy story that you put in. It could be a lot of different things. So.
Yeah, definitely. Like it could. I mean, yeah, it could work in a myriad of things. I think even like, I don't know whether it works in a generic Halloween haunt necessarily.
Yep.
But I don't know. If you've got like the whole haunted doll vibe, like which a lot of people do, the dolls, scary Victorian dolls and all that kind of thing. Yeah, it could maybe even work in a witches, something like to do with witches, because you could say it was like a captured soul inside of a puppet. I don't know. Right. It does work on a lot of different levels. So yeah, it's very cool.
Awesome. Well, let's keep going.
Yes.
And the next one is one that I really wanted to like more than I do, and not because I have any interest in buying it.
Yep.
But we're going to talk about Barnaby the bear. I kind of thought this was what it was going to be before we even saw the picture. Like when I heard the name, I was like, if it's bear, I think the classic bear on the ball. But I thought they were going for like a realistic bear.
Yes.
And I think what we got is like a 5-foot teddy bear on the ball. And that doesn't work for me. Like that doesn't speak carnival. It doesn't really speak. I mean, maybe you could put it in like a haunted Geppetto shop. You could put the bobby strings and put this in there. But I don't know. The proportions aren't real bear. He's got light up eyes. He's got these weird eyebrows. It just doesn't really work for me on any level. No. I guess the costume's okay. Mm-hmm. And the movement looks all right. That's not bad.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think?
This was one of the ones which I don't like gory props and stuff, but this was one where I heard the name and I thought, this has to be gory, I think. This feels like the only way they can make a bear in a carnival scary is to make it like gory, like blood dripping from its mouth, like it's gone on a rampage or something, and it's killed its, like the people who've been keeping it trained to balance on the ball or something. So I was
What
expecting
if he's balanced on a
yeah,
head or a skull or something?
Yeah, maybe, yeah, that would have been cool. And like, I was expecting to see something, talons, claws out, snarling, blood and saliva. That's what I was expecting to see. And then what you have is, like you say, very teddy bear-like. He's in a more sort of friendly pose. And then he's wearing this outfit that's very clean, like freshly pressed.
Right.
And he's just, I don't know. It's a cool idea. They're thinking outside of the box a little bit. But I just think they maybe stumbled at the last hurdle there with that one. I think, even though I don't like gore, particularly in props,
Yep.
I think on this occasion it would have made more sense to have him more violent and sort of, it's a bear, for God's sake. It's supposed to be, if it's not got to be violent, then you might as well not bother. So, yeah,
Right.
It didn't make a lot of sense for me, that one.
It looks like one of those, like the animal escape from the zoo. Well, put a guy in a suit and we'll put him in the cage and pretend he's a bear. Like, kind of has those vibes, right? It's like this guy in a suit pretending he's a bear. Look at me.
Yeah, you're right. It's definitely got guy in a bear suit vibes. No, I don't get it. Really. I think they could have done a better job there.
I agree. So I'm going to give it a little bit more for concept because at least it's an interesting concept.
Okay.
But that's where it falls short.
Okay.
So I think I'm gonna go 2 skulls.
Yeah.
I guess, and that might be high. I was between 1.5 and 2. I don't know. I'm gonna go 2. I'll give it 2.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna go 2 as well. To be honest, that's where I'm trying. I'm trying to think about it compared to the Ringmaster, and the Ringmaster's better, but the reason I've ranked him so low is because of him being too typecast as a prop. This is not as good a prop, but I like the imagination behind it. Yep. So it kind of levels out in that respect. So yeah, 2 skulls from me, definitely.
Okay. 2 skulls all around.
2.
Now the last one of the main attractions, and I have to let you talk about him because it's a prop made after you, right?
Yeah. This is Cotton Candy Dan.
Yum, yum, yum! Sometimes it's sweet, sometimes it's not. One thing I'll tell you though, it'll do more than rot your teeth out.
And and the minute I saw a prop, I know obviously it's not named after me. Of course it's not. But I had in my head, it's not. It better not be. I just was like, if it had a British accent, then maybe if it had come out, tea and crumpets, love, if it maybe been saying them sort of thing. Yeah, I was like, please don't be a clown, because I can't live with the idea of there being a Dan clown prop out there that I've at least got to be positive about a little bit because it shares my name. But no, yeah. So it is a clown. Of course, it's a clown. It was always going to be a clown. He's, again, I'm really bad judge of clowns, but I would say he's mediocre. If I was a clown viewing person and was looking for a clown, this would not be the clown for me personally. I like the action. So he's got this bucket of candy floss, obviously, that he's pulling like a decapitated head, kind of almost zombified head out of the bucket of candy floss. I do like the action. It's just the prop in general. It's a bit all over the place. Like the face, to me, so he's got like this kind of lopsided face, and the one eye's sort of melted away, and the other one is like a bright red LED eye. And I was like, why is it an LED eye? That looks more like something you'd see in like Terminator robot type prop, not a clown.
Right.
Like the red hair looked like someone just had gone, oh, this prop needs hair, let's slap this red wig on. Costume was basic looking to me. I don't know, just a bit boring. Yeah, so I was a bit like, if I was a clown guy, I'd be like a bit disappointed by this, if I'm honest. I like the concept, and I like that action, but not for me. And even the zombie head actually was a bit okay, questionable, lackluster.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just a bit like, oh, we'll just stick this generic head in this bucket of candy floss. Oh, cotton candy. I'm saying candy floss. That's the British word. Cotton candy. But you know what I mean. It's
So,
yeah.
so it'd be Candy Floss Dan. And
It'd be
they
Candy
filled it
Floss Dan in the UK, not Cotton
in.
Candy
Okay.
Dan. Don't ask me what Candy Floss is about. I don't know why we call it Candy Floss, but we do.
That's all right. At least your football makes sense because you actually use your feet
Use
for
your
the
feet.
ball. So we'll do it. It's a trade-off, right?
It's a trade-off. Yeah, okay. We'll take your candy. We'll take your cotton candy. You take our football.
There you go. Yeah, I have to agree. I think that it looks okay. I think that, the face is, I mean, the sculpt's fine. It's just, and I know they're trying to say like, oh, the cotton candy's rotting him, his face, whatever. Doesn't really work for me a lot with that. Again, like you said, the light up red eyes, kind of weird for a regular clown.
Yeah.
And I don't love the outfit on him. It's a basic clown outfit, but I just don't think this one looks great. And then I guess my question is, does anybody actually make cotton candy using a barrel on the ground anymore? Like,
no.
you know what I mean? Like I've seen, they have those other props, like, right, of like the girl in the cotton candy thing that spins around. It's like, well, that's how we make cotton candy
That's
nowadays.
how you make it, yeah.
So it's a little weird to me that they went with that instead of like a cotton candy machine that you could still pull body parts out of, right?
Yeah. Because actually, as well, it's not like there's anything going on in his lower half of his body that you need to see. Like they could have covered his legs entirely with the cotton candy machine, and you wouldn't have, it wouldn't have taken away from the prop because the outfit's so basic. So,
Right.
I don't
And
know.
having the jump scare at your feet when you're clearly going to be looking at the face, how many people are going to miss it? How many people are going to be looking at this clown talking to you, and then it pops up? I mean, maybe just the motion will get you,
Yeah,
but
maybe.
you're not really going to see the jump scare necessarily if you're up close. If you're far away, you can see the whole thing, but I don't know. I don't know that it really works.
Nah. Mediocre.
All right, so for this one, I guess he's right there with the bear for me. I'd give him 2 skulls.
Yep. I'm gonna go 1.5. 1.5 skulls. Because for me, again, I am a terrible judge of clowns. I admit it. But even if I was into clowns, I would find him disappointing personally. I like the motion, but that's about it. And like you say, it's kind of in a weird place. It's quite low down. I don't understand that idea. So there's a few things this one falls short of, I think, in a way. So yeah, 1.5. Okay. Very, very mean to Cotton Candy Dan, my namesake.
But if you literally look at it, 1.5, if we're doing a scale of 10, that would be like a 3.
I suppose that's true. Yeah.
That's actually pretty high for you.
Yeah, maybe.
For clown.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. Oh, can I go minus? Yeah.
Now we're going to move on. So that's the Carnival props. And we're going to move on to the world famous entertainers. And the first one they have on this list is Ghostface.
Strange that you and I have never spoken on the phone. This is long overdue.
So right away, I've seen all the Scream movies, and they're fine. Like I don't think they're some of the best horror movies anyway, but they're kind of like that horror comedy type thing going on. For this prop, right away, I'm just kind of like, okay. Nothing's necessarily special about the character, to me. But I get that people like him. So I think it's better than the original Scream prop. There's something weird about the head tilt to me. It almost feels like the neck's not there. It's almost like you can see the way the hood is, it cuts in like too much because they only need a small part for the mechanism, but you kind of still need to give the illusion there's a neck, and I think that's kind of missing. Otherwise, the motion's fine. The stabbing, it's exactly what you want. The costume looks a little cheap to me. Now, to be fair, I don't remember how cheap the costume looked in the original Scream because it's kind of supposed to be a cheap costume, I think, but it's not bad. Like, I think it could still be better. I think the first one was a very simple animation, but a better scare than this one. This one's probably like a step up as far as the character design, but I don't think it's like the ultimate Scream
Yes.
prop that we could get.
Yeah, I agree. Agree. I have seen the Scream movies. It's one of the few actual horror franchises. I've seen all of them because I'm not a horror fan, but I have seen them all. Yeah, I like it. I like the movement actually. Weirdly, I know what you mean. It is a bit weird, but I do like that addition of a bit of extra movement that he's got. And I also thought it's a simple thing, but I quite liked the fact they give you multiple masks. Well, they give you 2 masks and 2 different knives, so you can change it up. And I suppose if you want to go down the slightly gorier scene, you can put the bloody mask on. If you want to go a bit more scary ghost face, I don't know, you put just the white one on. Yeah, as a ghost face prop, there's not a lot to say about it because it gets the job done. It looked like ghost face and it's got a bit of movement. Yeah, I don't know. I think if I was really, really into the horror franchise and stuff, I think you're right. I think the previous one, probably has a slightly more, a better action, a scarier action anyway. I don't know. It's a hard one to judge for me, this one. I like it only because you can change it up. I think it works in that respect. I think if you love your horror characters, the fact you can alter this, I think might make it quite a popular one for people who are into that sort of stuff. But yeah, it's a hard one for me to judge because I'm not really into them. A bit like the clowns, but not as bad.
And the cool thing is, if you're into Scream, like if you wanted to have like a whole set with that, if you're at all handy, right?
Yeah.
You could very easily make, using that other mask, make a separate prop, right? So you could have the stabbing one, but you could have a static of the clean mask beforehand if you wanted. You know, you just got to get that cheap costume and mannequin gloves. You fill the hands and.
Yeah.
So you could kind of make 2 props out of it.
You kind of could. Yeah, that's true. And I think that's the thing as well. I think the whole idea of Scream is it's kind of comedic, isn't it? It's sort of making fun of the horror genre in a way.
It is, yeah.
The costume is a bad costume. It's a kind of a cheap, you can tell it's like it's supposed to be like a guy who's gone out and got a cheap Halloween costume and that's what he's running around using as his disguise. So yeah, I think it's okay. I think it's okay.
I don't want to give it lower score because the quality of the costume, I think, does kind of match what they were going for in the movie. You know, it's kind of like this cheap Halloween costume that someone's going around killing people. I do like the interchangeable parts, like you said. I think I'll give it a 3.
Okay.
I think it's right in the middle, you know?
Yeah. Yep. I was going to go 2.5, actually.
Okay.
2.5 skulls. Because I like it slightly better than the Bear and the Ringmaster. But I'm not a big horror fan. I'm not. It would be, or at least I wouldn't be something I bought for my display. So basing it on that, cool, and I like the accessories that you get with it and stuff. Yeah, it's cool, but it sits bang in the middle, 2.5 out of 5. Yeah.
So, are we going to do the next 2 together? Are we going to do them separate?
No, I think together makes most sense. I think.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to talk about Emily and Victor.
This ring. I do.
And I really like the look of these.
Yes.
If I had to go just based on looks, even though it's the less interesting character, I think Victor actually does look better than Emily. I think that comes down to her dress and her hair aren't quite right. You know, the hair does look like the wig they sell from the costume. So I think they just put that on the animatronic. And it's a little too clean. It's a little like her hair is like a little more kind of dirty, clumpy. You know what I mean? Like it's just not, it's not that like just washed bright blue in the movie, you know? And then the dress for her, I think, isn't quite right. It's not bad, but it was a little more tattered in the movie. You know, it was a little longer, flowed more, which is, I get that they might not want to do that, but they should because it would look better. So I do think that the dress could have been better, but I still like, you know, they still have the ribcage popping out. They still have everything else. The faces, I think, look pretty spot on for both of them. I think they both look really good. And I think Victor's suit looks great. You know, I think his costume looks good. Other than the big contention with me that I have with any of these is the fact that the mouth doesn't move.
Yeah.
And I get it. I understand they did the same thing with Sally for Nightmare Before Christmas. That if they want to make a plastic head, it's hard to make the mouth move. I still think they need to find a way to do it.
Yes.
Because it doesn't make it look quite right. But what you could do is you could set these 2 props up and turn down their volume and then just play music from the movie in the background, right?
Yeah.
because otherwise their animation is really good. The servo animation with the head movement, tilting, the eyes blinking, all looks really cool. So I do really like them, but they're not perfect. And obviously, I'm a bigger Corpse Bride fan than you, I know. So
Yeah. It's
what's your take on them?
Yeah, it's Corpse Bride is one of them. I've not, I don't know why I've never watched it properly or fully, I should say. I've just seen sections of it and I've never sat down and watched it properly. So it's not my favorite of the Tim Burton-esque movies that are out there. But cool. I like the characters though. I think they look really good. I did initially when I first saw them, I was like, wow, it's like they've literally just taken them and it's like they've come out of the movie. Like, wow, that's exactly how they should have looked. And then the more I looked at them, you're right. Victor definitely looks better, more to the character. And Emily is a little bit, it's the hair's a bit too clean. You're right. It's got that shiny fake wig look to it. And the dress was just a bit too fresh and clean and not tattered enough. And that, I mean, she's a corpse at the end of the day. She's in the ground. She's supposed to look a bit messed up. So, yeah, but apart from picking at that, they both look... Sorry, loud motorbike decided to go past just then. They both look really good. And I think if you're into your Corpse Bride, a bit like if you're into your Nightmare Before Christmas stuff and you've got that kind of an area dedicated in your haunt, I think these would look really good. I think you could even sort of have them with the Nightmare Before Christmas theme stuff, even though they're obviously two different movies. You know, it's almost Tim Burton movies. You can flow one into the next sometimes. So
Tim
yeah,
Burton party, having a party together.
have a little
right?
Tim Burton party over
Jack
there.
and Sally, Victor, Emily, you know.
Just chuck them all together. It's all very same themes anyway. So I like them. But then, yeah, you're right. The lack of mouth movement is a bit annoying. And I don't know. I think just a couple of little issues with Emily. Apart from that, though, I do like the eye blinking. I thought that was really quite good. They've nailed that. So, yeah, I think if you like that movie, you will love these props.
So, getting into scoring, I'll let you go first.
Okay.
What are you thinking?
I was going to go for 3.5 skulls.
Okay.
Because, yeah, I like them. I like the way they look. And if I was more into the movie, I would maybe even score them higher. It's just I'm not got quite the same connection to the movie. Because even though my haunt, I always think of it from my haunt's point of view a little bit, but even though they are very specific to the movie, they do work in a sort of, maybe not so much Victor, but the Corpse Bride, I think, works very well just in a generic haunt. You know, you could have her in amongst a graveyard, and it doesn't necessarily have to be you're doing a Corpse Bride theme. You know, it kind of works on multiple levels. So, yeah, I think this is a good prop. Both of them are good props.
I'm going to say if you were a bigger fan, you would rate it a little higher because I'm going to give it a 4.
Well, there you go.
They're right up there. If I'm going to get a spirit prop, it's probably going to be these because I am a big fan of the movies.
Mm-hmm.
I do think they're cool. Our Halloween is based on a party for kids mostly, so I think having them out there would fit right in. Mm-hmm. And although I don't actually know how many kids watch The Corpse Bride.
Yeah,
I don't think it's as many as Nightmare Before Christmas.
No, I think that's why I haven't watched it properly because my kids won't watch it. I think my kids are a couple of little wusses, the pair of them, bit like me, and won't watch things like that. They'll just about watch The Nightmare Before Christmas only because I've indoctrinated them to do so. They're not overly fans of it.
Okay, so the next one we're going to talk about is Art the Clown. And so this is interesting because I think he's a good-looking prop. And I think the character of Art, I'm fascinated reading about it. I will never watch the movies because I'm not into gore for the sake of gore, And I know that's kind of like the selling point, right? Let's make it super gory. But I've heard the character is really cool. And part of me almost wants to watch it, but then the other part of me is like, I probably won't enjoy the other stuff. Some people love that for Halloween. Halloween for me is not slashers. I don't like butcher haunts. I don't. None of that stuff does anything for me. I like the creepy. I like the supernatural. I like that stuff. That's what I like. So for me, it's a clown, and it's a clown with a lot of violence, and so it's totally not my thing.
Yeah.
But going to the animatronic side, he looks good. I think he looks really good. The wave is cool. It's creepy. I guess if I had a clown haunt, and I didn't know Art the Clown, then it would be good to put in the front of the haunt. And it's like, hey, wave, come on in, Fitting the character, I think it probably does. But again, I have no idea because I've never seen it. So I think it's a solid Art the Clown prop that I have no interest in.
I'm on the same wavelength, exactly the same wavelength. It's a cool animatronic, and for a clown animatronic, it's a good one. It's a fun one, and I do quite like that little wave because I've seen plenty of snippets of bits of the movie. I've seen both bits of gory bits and lots of bits of Art the Clown being kind of fun and quirky, and which is what people like about this character. It's that combination of him almost being a likable, fun character who's doing these god-awful, gory things. So, yeah, I might as well watch the movie because I've seen so much of it in snippets that I might as well just watch it, to be honest. But, yeah, in the same way that that isn't Halloween for me, gore and stuff, I know some people love it, and that's what their whole display and stuff's about. For me, it never has been. Plus, with kids as well, it would just not go down well with my kids or any of the kids around here. So it just would never be something I included. And so for that reason, it would not make any sense at all. And it's a clown, which makes even less sense for me. So it's a cool animatronic based upon a cool character, which I know some people will love. Yeah. But it's not for me. Yeah, and that's all I've got to say about it.
Okay. So for me, I can acknowledge that he looks good, and I can acknowledge that the motion, probably fits the character, like you said, and I can see it being used in a clown haunt. I'll give it 2.5 skulls.
Okay, yes. Well, I was going to go for 2 skulls. The same reason for all my scoring at that level. I can appreciate it as a prop. It's a good animatronic, but it's not one I like as the concept of the character and stuff. I actually do like the character of Art the Clown from the snippets I've seen, but it still doesn't make any sense for me because I've not seen the movie and I'm not into clowns. So,
right.
Yes.
So you're saying you don't like clowns and you're not into gore, but you don't want this animatronic. I don't get it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's great. What's wrong with me? Yeah.
Okay. So now let's go on to probably one of the slashers icons that I have seen the most of, and this is Michael Myers from Halloween. I don't understand how they can get an Art the Clown to look just like the movie, and for some god-awful reason, nobody can make Michael Myers look like Michael Myers. Ever. They never quite look right. The face is okay on this, I guess. The hair is awful. It looks like someone that put a wig on, but they don't know how to put the wig on right. So it's you can kind of see the little seams upturned on it and everything. It just looks not good. The jumpsuit looks good.
Yeah.
I think the motion is fine. I was so upset about the look on this that I didn't notice until it was pointed out to me in the comments. The music is this weird piano music, and I don't know if it's from one of the movies, but that's not scary. It's kind of this, almost like a somber piano ballad. It's they, other than the costume and the animation, this is a huge miss for me. I don't know.
I'm gonna be unpopular here because I've only seen the original Halloween movies from the 70s. I've not seen any of the later adaptations, nor do I want to, because I liked those. They're one of the few horror movies I liked. And I don't want to ruin the better ones. And that's what everyone says.
Are better.
And I don't want to ruin them with the ones that came later. And this character, does not look like that. He does not look like that classic Michael Myers character. And I'm going to say something that I know is not going to go down well. It's that I wish they'd stop making Michael Myers animatronics, to be honest.
Right.
Make the masks, sell the costumes. That's fine. But stop making the animatronics because you can't, clearly no one can do it right, or at least not a good enough one to let you go, yes, this is him. He might as well be reborn in my room. That's it. No one seems to get him right. And yeah, he's got a good stabbing motion and the movement's okay, but it just looks, I don't know, just not good. Like you said, the wig's weird and the face is weird and I don't know. I just looked at it and I was like, who's buying this? Like, if you like Michael Myers that much, surely you've already got one that you're happy with by now, because there's been loads of them. Like
Every year.
There's at least one from somewhere. And why do we need to keep on having the same character? Because at the end of the day, there's not a lot, apart from a guy stabbing, there's not a lot more of this character you can do with this character, unless you start building him with one of his victims as well. I mean, I don't know what else you're supposed to do with this guy. So just leave Michael Myers alone, right? Just stop digging up the corpse of Michael Myers every year and making a new animatronic, but not then doing a good enough job of the character. I don't know. It's just,
I can picture like the pitch for this. It's like, we've got more Halloween movies coming out. Let's make a Michael Myers animatronic.
Yeah.
So what should we have him do something different? No, the same motion as last year. We'll have him stabbing. Yeah. Oh, but we'll make his face look really good, right? No. We'll make it look terrible. Just terrible in a different way than last time.
Someone said, this is where I don't know because I've not watched the later movies, but someone said he was based more upon like the Michael Myers from I can't remember which one it was, but the one that was like later in the 80s. And it looks more like that Michael Myers. But then that's the Michael Myers that a lot of the Michael Myers fans go, they don't like. Like, we don't like these movies as much as the originals. So it's like, well, then, so why are you basing it, if that is what you're doing, why are you basing it off that one that everyone kind of goes, even the Halloween franchise fans go, but that was a bad one. Why are you doing that if that's what you're doing? I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I want the face to look like the creepy William Shatner mask.
Yeah.
And I want the hair just to kind of look like real hair.
Yeah,
as close as
a little bit.
It's funny because it seems like I see good Halloween masks that are made of him.
Yeah, but they just don't seem to get it right.
They can't put it on the animatronic.
That mask on that animatronic. I don't get it.
Right?
Because that's the thing about that character. It's a guy in a mask. It's not. Right. It's a guy in a mask. So build an animatronic guy and then put the mask on him. That's it. It's like, I don't know.
Oh, so frustrating.
It really is. It's annoying.
All right. So I think the motion looks good, and I think the jumpsuit looks good.
Mm-hmm.
So because of that, I will give it a skull. One skull.
Ooh, okay. I was gonna go. I was toying with one. I actually think I'm gonna go half a skull. Half a skull.
I thought of it.
It's bad, that, isn't it? Because the thing is, I feel bad for doing that because there's got to be some real Halloween franchise loving movie people there who are going to be like, "What? How can you do that to Michael Myers?" And it's like, yeah, but it's not a good Michael Myers. It's not a good one.
I don't look at it and say that's Michael Myers. No. Like if I was walking through a hall, I'd be like, "Oh, cool jumpsuit guy."
Yeah.
It's like, "Oh, it's Michael Myers." Oh, really?
And again, it kind of is the same thing we've just talked about, but it's annoying to me that they just keep on rehashing this character. It's so unimaginative. It's like Halloween, Michael Myers. Yeah, we've done it. We did it last year. Let's do it again. It's like, no, leave it. Unless you've got some really good idea for it, just leave it, please.
And if you could at least I don't know if they just can't get the rights to use the original song anymore.
Maybe.
Because none of the new Michael Myers props have the song that you want to hear for this.
Yeah, it's like,
right?
Yeah.
All right, everybody. So thanks for watching. Don't forget, we've got part 2 coming up on Halloween Dance Channel for all the rest of the Spirit props. So make sure you go check out his channel. And that's it. Once again, I am Scare Dad.
And I'm Halloween Dan.
What was my closing thing?
I was nearly saying it again then. I was nearly saying
I'm glad you know it.
I was nearly saying it.
I like it when you say it.
I nearly said it. I was like, stop, don't speak.
And remember, spooky season's coming, so go get ready.
Yeah, okay. There we go.
One of these days, I'll be able to get through my ending or opening with no problems.
Oh, dear. Anyway, nice to
All
see
right.
you as always, Nate, and I will
Yep.
speak to you soon.
Sounds good. All right. Take care, Dan.
You
We'll see
too,
you.
mate. Bye bye.
All right. Bye.